Hello, this is Andrea for the Learning Bear Podcast, your resource for wild professional development. Today we're going to be talking about permaculture. I signed up for a permaculture class through High Sierra Permaculture with the instructor Brett James, and this is my adventure of that, going through that webinar. He talks about how permaculture, I don't want to say saves people, but essentially it's kind of romanticized. This family, they have 6,000 pounds of food they produce a year, 2,000 eggs, a whole bunch of honey, acre, just barely an acre, or part of an acre, I should say. And they do amazing things, and that's great, and I appreciate that for them. Then he talks about this next person who does all these amazing things and has very little square footage. Again, another great thing, people doing what they can where they can. Next, he talks about this program through Jeff Lawton called Greening the Desert Project. It's done in Jordan, I believe, and it's taking, these pretty desolate looking places on the left and turning them into green functioning properties on the right. And that's amazing, and that's incredible, and that's what we should be doing. And I appreciate the knowledge and science that is being shared here, for sure. I also appreciate that he talks about something that's from a Project Wild lesson. So anytime I can connect something I know to be true with these sort of webinars, then I know that they're on the right track. If it's something I've read in a book or whatever, then I know they're not scamming me. I'm very skeptical on these sorts of programs, but I thought, what the heck, I have time, I'll do it. So he talks about all the effort it takes to get an egg from your door, or from a farmer to your door, and it's a lot, and it's crazy what we go through to get food, and especially something like eggs we can grow ourselves. Then he talks about the permaculture backyard egg, where basically you just walk to your backyard and there's an egg because you have chickens and you're taking care of them properly. This is a lesson from Project Wild, and it's definitely worthwhile looking into, and I like his example of it. It's good. No problems here. He then goes on to talk about his lifestyle and how he has 30 acres in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and how they have like a yurt, and this is his family, and blah, 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 whatever. That's great, and I'm happy for him that he has all that opportunity, and I can appreciate his struggle to get to that point, for sure. Then he starts moving into permaculture and what it can mean for us as participants. There were like 83 of us involved in this webinar. It slowly dropped down to 72. I stuck it out to the end, for the record. So basically it's all about balance. This is how you create connection between your mind, your body, the earth around you, and so forth. All these things on this diagram here are what he was talking about. And I agree, there needs to be balance. I also agree with this. You start small with a garden, and then you work up to animals and energy collection and so forth. I like this diagram, and I think that's helpful for people getting started. I don't know how feasible a lot of this stuff is for most people. He makes the claims that anybody can do it, and I don't know if that's possible. I just don't. I'd have to see some studies or something, some sort of statistics to back that up. I also like this fruit tree guild. I think this is an excellent idea. I mean, things don't grow in nature in perfect little rows and perfect little sections. Everything is growing together, and it's all working together, and it's cohesive. And I love this concept, and I think he totally hits it on the head there. I'm very wary of programs like this, because you can get caught up in the emotion and the romanticizedness of it, and before you know it, you've invested a whole lot of money that you don't have and probably shouldn't have done, and you probably won't use this to the extent that they want you to, or you should, in order to get that money back. And as much as I love this, I was starting to be like, okay, where are you going with this? Now, this part here, I really did enjoy, and I'll be honest, the scientific part of his presentation, I really enjoyed. And I knew he wasn't bullcrapping any of us. It was real information, real science, things that made sense. I appreciated all of that. I really did. And I really do appreciate his struggle that he has gone through, trial and error to get to where he is. And I value that. I really, really do. I like this idea of open loops versus closed loops. The open loops obviously was, all of the input from stuff from outside, and then the closed loops are things where you yourself are doing all of the work, or your chickens, your ducks, they are helping with pest control. Most of your work, most of what you need comes from where you are versus going to Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever. So I do really like that, and I think that's a really awesome idea and something I would like to implement in my own life eventually. Now, I was really excited about this whole thing. I really, really was. And while he was talking, I was Googling about permaculture design courses and certifications because I love certifications. I get excited about the idea of having a certification. I collect certifications like some people collect baseball cards. I love certifications. Don't get me wrong. And I was really excited when he said, hey, I have a Holistic Homestead Academy that you can do online. You can get your certification, and bing, bang, boom. And I'm really excited at this point, okay? But here's where my rational brain kicks in. I'm thinking, okay, where does this cost? Because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I work really hard at home. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of research. I'm constantly trying to benefit myself. But the vast majority of what I do doesn't cost anything, and it doesn't cost my husband anything who is supporting us. So I can't afford a lot of things. As a stay-at-home mom, sometimes I just go without. Sometimes I really need a new pair of pants, but I can't afford a new pair of pants, or I don't feel like I can ask for the money to buy a pair of pants. So he starts talking about what would this cost? What would this be of value to you? And I thought, oh boy, here comes the pitch. He talks about the 3 tracks of this homestead, holistic, whatever, permaculture, literacy, design, and practical how-tos, 180 lessons, stuff you can do at your own pace, stuff that you can do to get a certification, on and on and on. And I just want to say I appreciate what he's gone through to get to this point. I appreciate that he's like, you know what, I really struggled, and you guys shouldn't have to struggle like I did. Here's what you need to be successful. I appreciate that a lot. But the sales pitch wasn't getting me. I know I could see in the chat on the side that it was getting other people. Here's the thing. And he did it fluidly. He went right from the scientific material into this romanticized pitch about how this is what you need to be successful. Can you really put a value on education? So on and so forth. He did a great job, and I commend him for that. I really do. I know this review is going to come off as negative, so then he comes right down to it. But I need to make it clear. Valued at $3,000. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to modules and blah 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 whatever. Provide you with a lesson, and he sells it for $1,300 and some dollars. This stuff is awesome us because we participate environmental education because we're so amazing. He's giving it to learning about the word biology, trying to and he's going to ground all this other free stuff, blah blah blah, improving the soil. And this is where they get you. They're like, oh, all the way up. This is an amazing deal. Look at that big number, and we're only going to pay that little number. All this stuff is great. A whole digit away. Where they get you is where they get you so excited, and they start playing on your rational brain, and before you know it, you've invested a whole bunch of money just a second. Am I going to get $697 worth of value? And you have to be aware enough to take a step back and be like, because he is. The science is on with resources. I'm with you on the science. There were like but no matter how much I want that certification, he was giving for free. I can't afford this. And this thing ends tonight. This thing ends in 5 days. Whatever. Doing this. It's great, and I love that there's a payment plan. I really do. $133 for this program, and it's at your own pace, and the sessions are short, and so on and so forth. I'm saying as an environmental educator, as passionate as I am about this stuff and as excited as I got in the beginning of this, and I'm like, man, this is really cool. I need to look into it. I need to go to the library. I need to do this, and this. My brain was like, whoa, Nelly, $700 is a lot of money. Will I get $700 out of it? So what I'm saying to you is that before you invest in something like this, and I'm all about investing in education. I can't tell you the number of classes I've taken, but think. Because unless you are already into permaculture, you're already into gardening, you're already living off the grid, and if you are, you probably didn't watch this webinar because you probably don't have internet. This is not for you. This is great information, but you can use your library. You can use your extension office. You can use the Division of Forestry. You can talk to the USDA. You can get a lot of these resources and experience for free. And let's be honest, a lot of us are not going to use a permaculture certificate. As cool and as amazing it is, and I have definitely put it in my brain as a back burner thing, like if it comes along, I should take it. This is not feasible. It doesn't make sense. And, part of my reasoning on this is probably because I live with someone, my husband, who is all about the numbers and the finance. And he's all about investing in education because you're investing in yourself. But $700 is a lot of money. So don't let your emotions and the excitement about something cool as permaculture sweep you up into this frenzy of blowing a bunch of money. And I don't mean that in a terrible way. I think what they're doing is great. And if they can get passionate individuals, more and more of them involved in permaculture, and we can turn our suffering earth into a green landscape that's being taken care of, I'm all about it. But $700 is a lot. I don't care if there is a payment plan. It could be $5 for the next 50,000 years. Doesn't matter. $700 is a lot. $3,400 is a lot. I beg you, when it comes to educating yourself, definitely do it, but look at all of your options. Look at your library. And if there aren't books at your library, put in a request. Look at other libraries. He starts throwing shade at YouTube and how can you really learn anything from YouTube? Yes, you can. People learn from YouTube all the time. And people develop their own YouTube channels like I've done. And I'm just saying, whoa, Nelly, take a step back, really think about it. Really use up that 5-day period that you can only get this special. Because even me, as someone who's invested and is passionate about environmental education as I am, this does not make sense. Not at all. So I do recommend his lecture about permaculture. It was really interesting and fascinating, but I also recommend going to your library and reading about it. Really interesting topic. And I'm going to do more research on my own separate from this. And hopefully someday I'll find an affordable permaculture